So I just had a pretty cool one-on-one with Ava. We have at least once every 2 weeks time alone here in the theater room. We watch a 30-minute Christian video, and today's topic was about worry and how where we can know where we trust God least by looking at what we worry about most. So if I worry most about money, then that means I trust God least with my money. So anyway, after the video, after the 30-minute sermon that I show her, we sit down and we have a discussion about what we saw in the video. And today's discussion uh, centered on the gift of sex. She was talking about what brought us to this topic was she was mentioning how at school they have this play. She's in theater, and her teacher gave her options on what skit to enact, and she tells me that she and her friend inadvertently chose a drag queen skit. And so she's joking about it and talking about this drag queen skit that she's going to enact here pretty soon. I began to become worried, like where and why is this drag queen skit allowed into the schools? So that opened up the door for the conversation of why drag queens or the whole homosexual transgender gender confusion thing is wrong. And she doesn't think it's wrong because she thinks that, gender fluidity is normal. And, she's like most teens and most people in this progressive culture who think that there's nothing wrong with this homosexual perversion that's going on. It's literally dominating our society. And so I asked her, I guess, a rhetorical question: what is wrong with a pedophilia? And Ava, like most people, has a strong aversion towards pedophiles and pedophilia. And she's like, oh, she cringes. And she said something like, because it's a grown person having sex with a kid and that's ugly. So I'm like, all right. So the main idea to the evil behind pedophilia is sex, right? Yeah, okay. So then what is wrong with two people of the same sex being together, like same sex relationships? And she says, well, they can't have kids. Okay, cool. It's good because God wants us to come together and populate the earth. Very good. But why else is same sex relationships wrong? And she kind of stayed there, and I said, and I kind of helped her out. It's because of the main idea of sex being perverted, sex being abused, sex being used for its unintended purpose. She's like, oh, yeah, that's right. So then the main idea behind why homosexuality is wrong is because it's sex being abused, sex being misused, sex being altered from its original design. Yeah, same thing with pedophilia, same thing with pedophiles. It's sex being misused, abused, squandered, deviated from its design. She just kind of had a light bulb moment. And so I wanted to share that with you guys out there and you girls, that in God's eyes, because the main idea behind pedophilia and homosexuality, because the main idea is sex being distorted and sex being abused and sex being misused from God's design, because that is true. That's why in his eyes, and that's why I strongly preach it and I strongly write about it, that pedophilia and homosexuality are no different. They're no different. Society just accepts one and abhors the other one. But essentially, they're the same evil because they share a common denominator. And that denominator is sex being abused, sex being used for its unintended purpose, sex, the gift of sex, deviating from God's design for life. That, my friends, is why pedophilia and homosexuality are one and the same. See you on the next one.